Only organizations that are able to adapt to the ever-changing business environment can stay competitive. I'll say that again. Only organizations that are able to adapt to the ever-changing business environment can stay competitive. So I'm going to be talking about adapting to stay competitive in the marketplace. Now, there are two environments of business. There is the macro element and there's the micro element. The macro element of business are elements that we have no control over. They are environments of business that we cannot control. For example, government regulations, laws, taxes, natural disasters, and things like that. Even the market, you have no control over the market. You have no control over your customers. So all these factors that you have no control over are called macro elements of business. While the micro elements are areas of things that you have control over. For example, your culture, your leadership, your operations. These are things that you can control. These are things that you can manage. Now, there are certain criteria. You know, we'll talk about being competitive. Some people will just go over and say, the big things, the quality of my product, that product that I said. But I want to talk about two very important factors that make you stay competitive in the business place or in the market environment. Number one is your company culture. Do you know that your company culture plays a very huge part in being competitive? What people have to say about your organization is very, very important to the growth of your business. It's very, very important to staying competitive. I'm going to give a typical example. There are only two companies that have come across or have heard that people almost never resign from. Two organizations. One is an engineering company and one is like a club kind of, but they do other things too. Those are I didn't work there directly, but these are the information that I got from people who had worked there, from people who were working there, and from some of their consultants. People don't resign from such organizations. I remember the very first one that I heard of, the engineering company. I got to know about that company about 2011, 12 thereabout. I knew the owner of the business. I knew he was a very nice man. He was an elderly man, but I didn't really know much until a friend of mine was looking for a job. He was an engineer. So I said, look at this company. I heard that they're very, check them out. And he went and came back and was like, he heard that people don't resign from that company. And that for you to even get, news that there is vacancy is that somebody who is inside is leaving. People don't resign. The second one was a friend of mine who is a financial consultant to that particular company. He told me the same thing. That even the workers said that, okay, people don't leave this place. Except the owner chases them or they do something that is very bad. People don't leave. Now, you see that information is a competitive advantage, which means that they have an advantage in terms of quality of employees, which comes to the second aspect of being competitive. The quality of your staff is a competitive advantage. The quality of your staff is a competitive advantage. Now, we are in a time where people want to do the barest minimum and get paid. But one key word, when it comes to competitive advantage, one key word is flexibility. If you are not flexible as an organization, you will not be able to stand the test of time. You must be flexible in your policies. You must be flexible in your business. You must be flexible in your products, in your services, in your customer service. You must be flexible in strategies, in tactics, in growth. Everything has to have some form of flexibility because the market is ever changing. Now, if you're that type of business that is like a rock of Gibraltar, they give you an advice, you don't take it. And here's what happens. Every time your customers complain about you, you're not the only person who is hearing what your customer is saying or your market is saying. Your competitors are also paying attention. They are paying attention to your business. So what happens when customers are making certain complaints or the market is making certain complaints about your brand and you are refusing to change because you are the king in the marketplace? What happens is that a lesser business takes that thing that you have refused to work on it in their own business or introduce it into their own business, and then it becomes a marketing strategy for them. So that thing that you have refused to implement, that flexibility that you have refused to have, your competition can take it, introduce it into their business and make it or include it into their marketing message. And before you know what is happening, your business begins to decline because you may not remain king forever. Do you understand? So adapting to stay competitive, the primary word there is flexibility. If you go and find out from businesses that have, dwindled over the course of time and taken over by other new businesses, check them. You will see heavy bureaucracy in their system. They don't bend, they don't change, they don't adapt. But if you're going to remain competitive, you're going to remain competitive in the marketplace, flexibility is a key word. I hope this helps. Have a lovely day.